Hey there, and welcome, friends. This is This Week at the Theater Snapshot Sacramento, brought to you by the Sacramento Area Regional Theater Alliance. We are SARTA, and we're so glad that you're here. We've got a lot to share with you this week, and I've got something special for you down toward the end of the stream because I want to make sure that you stick around for that. We've got a community conversation with one of our wonderful community area now directors, Mr. Chris Smith. So I'm going to share that with you down toward the end. But of course, we've got to let you know all the great things that are going on here in the Sacramento theater scene right now. I hope you're ready. It's been a wonderful getting ready for spring, coming out of the winter pretty soon, getting ready for spring, and we've got a lot of auditions and a lot of things that are coming soon. So let's just get started with those auditions. So as I always tell you, get those headshots and resumes ready. You may see one here that you need to go and audition for. The first one that we want to share with you is an audition at Chautauqua Playhouse over in beautiful Sacramento near Carmichael. It's called The Fire Queen versus the Evil Witch. Now, come on. Who doesn't want to play at least the Evil Witch? I don't know. I think I might want to play the Fire Queen too. But this is a special one. This is an emergency casting because they still need some people for parts. One of them is the Evil Witch. So if you think you can get your best Evil Witch on, you may want to contact them. They need someone to play Dragon Patrick. They need someone to play Lita. And our auditions are open to everyone. So anyone and everyone can come and audition for this show. In fact, they want you to come and audition for this show. They really need some more folks here. So again, this is cold reads from the script for The Fire Queen versus the Evil Witch out at Chautauqua Playhouse for their children's theater. So get in touch with them if you think you want to audition for this one. Auditions are also being held tonight and tomorrow, right now, as a matter of fact, for a play at Chautauqua Playhouse, also called Intimate Apparel. I read the synopsis story for this, and it's an amazing period piece. And by that I mean this is set in 1905, so it should have amazing costuming and things like that, because it's the story of a lady who makes beautiful, beautiful lingerie for a wide variety of clients. And, you know, on her quest to try and open her own business someday, goes through life and relationships and all kinds of things. Intimate Apparel. It's written by Lynn Notage, and I do hope I'm saying her name right. I went through that with someone else today. We were talking about this show, and neither one of us were sure we were saying her last name right. I'm going to have to find something on the internet that where they actually say the wonderful lady's name so I can pronounce it correctly, because I hate to do things like that to people's names. So if you can make it down tonight because you're sitting here watching this with me, then by all means try and make it down there tomorrow night for auditions for Intimate Apparel at the Chautauqua Playhouse tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Sierra College Theater Arts Department will be holding their auditions next week on the 30th and the 31st at the Dietrich Theater for Arthur Miller's The Crucible. Big, deep, dramatic play, this one, but also a classic. Arthur Miller has one of our premier American playwrights. So if you wish to be in this production, again, the auditions are going to be Monday and Tuesday, January 30th and 31st at 3:30 in the Dietrich Theater on the Rockland campus at Sierra College. If you've never been out there, it's a really nice school, lovely college campus. And the callbacks will be by invitation on Wednesday, February 1st. Can you believe that next Wednesday is going to be February 1st? We are just about out of January, folks. We have really run through this month, I think, rather quickly. It just seems like it was Christmas. Didn't we just do that? Wow. Anyway, get on out to Sierra College and audition for this deeply dramatic and American classic play, The Crucible. More auditions Resurrection Theater Company is having their auditions for some of their fall and winter productions. In fact, they're auditioning for 2 different productions at this time. So the plays are going to happen in September of this year and November of this year. But the auditions are going to happen on March 19th. No, it's not too early to start talking about that because you're going to want to put that in your calendar. If February starts next week, you know March is just around the corner. So, because February is pretty darn short. So, March 19th, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Wilkerson Theater. That's in the 25th and R Street Theater Complex, where there's also California Stage and the Three Penny Theater. So you're going to go to the Wilkerson Theater that day to audition for the first play is called Take Me Out, and that's the one that's going to run in September. And the second play is called Straight White Men. Gotta love the name on that one. Straight White Men is going to be their play that will start in November of this year. So they're really planning ahead, which is a good thing to do when you're trying to line up people and organize calendars and all that great stuff. So auditions for Resurrection Theater Company. I want to take a moment out again. We did this last week. I'll continue to share this to talk about some theater etiquette. Most of our theaters are, coming back just like everybody else is post-COVID. Hopefully everybody has gotten vaccinated. Everybody has taken their time to do what they need to do. And we always ask that you make yourself as comfortable as possible for you. If you're going out places, and you feel more comfortable, wear your mask. I know I still do when I'm going to the grocery stores or larger places. Some of our theaters are asking that patrons still wear masks in the theater. Some of our theaters are checking to see if you have updated vaccination cards, just to make sure that they're keeping everybody, including the actors, safe. Remember, the actors are up there with nothing on their faces, doing these great performances for you. So it would be nice if we help them stay healthy and well also. I mean, I went to an event just this past weekend and found out that one of the people I was sitting close to tested positive for COVID. So, it's still out there. It's still getting people. It's still running around. You can do the best you can, but sometimes that might not be enough. So please take your precautions, and whatever the theater is requesting you to do as far as their COVID protocols are concerned, please support them graciously by doing that. That is the nice thing to do right now. We all want to stay well and healthy. Let's take a look at what's playing now that you've gotten your theater etiquette out of the way. And the really cool thing is most of our theaters, if you go onto their websites to buy tickets, they're going to have all that information right there that talks about what their COVID protocols might be, if there are any guidelines that they're following, so that you know before you get to the theater what you need to have. So, now playing. Let's go see some good theater. Still playing at Chautauqua Playhouse is the comedy called Vanities by Jack Hefner. This is running through February 5th, so this is not the final weekend. You'll still have one more weekend next week to get a chance to go and see this. Performances are Fridays and Saturdays at 8 o'clock and Sundays at 2 o'clock. So you have a matinee. If you don't want to stay out late on a Friday or Saturday night, you can get a matinee on a Sunday. Performances are at the Chautauqua Playhouse, on Ingle Road, at the La Sierra Community Center space in Carmichael, California, beautiful Carmichael, California. This is a really nice theater, and it has plenty of ample parking. It's very accessible. Nice theater on the inside. If you've ever been there, you probably enjoyed several different shows. Many people have been there for their holiday production of Scrooge. They always do a great production of that. So Chautauqua Theater for Vanities. Sutter Street Theater is continuing with its production of Escanaba in the Moonlight. This is written by Jeff Daniels and directed by Connie Mockenhaupt. It will be playing through February 19th, so you still have time to see this particular show. It's on Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. They wanted to make sure you noted those new start times. And then on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. So if you'd like a reservation for this, you can go to the Sutter Street Theater website for your tickets, get your tickets for this, or you can give them a call, but you could probably just go to the website and get your tickets and then head on over to wonderful Old Folsom. So this theater is in a beautiful section of Old Folsom, lots of quaint places. Go early so you can go to some of the shops and things and take a look around. I happen to know there's a shop down on the very corner of the strip that the theater is on that has amazing ice cream. They've got candy and other snacks too, but really good ice cream. So, if you want to get a snack or two, a little dessert before you go into the theater, I'd say show up early, shop a little bit, and then go see Escanaba in the Moonlight at Sutter Street Theater. This is the final weekend for Cabaret out at the Davis Musical Theater Company. DMTC always puts on amazing shows, and I know this one is no different. The Cabaret show was underwritten by Susie Goldschmidt in honor of David Goldschmidt, and that is a wonderful thing when a theater company can have that happen. What that means is they get community support, financial support for putting on their different shows. And some of these shows can be really expensive to produce. You've got costumes and lights and sounds and musicians and all sorts of things going on. And, you know, this doesn't happen for free, even though most of community theater is unpaid work. We do it because we love it. Remember, there is still a cost to all these different things, including keeping the lights on and the heat on and all those kinds of things at the actual physical theater spaces. So you're going to want to go down and see this. And we want to thank the Goldschmidt family for being willing to sponsor some of the performances. You may see that added to some of our posters and things that we share from the different production companies, because as they get underwriters, they really want to advertise and thank those people that are gracious enough to be great patrons of the arts like that. This show closes this weekend. After this weekend, there will be no more bienvenue, willkommen, welcome to the Cabaret, because Cabaret is going to be over. So if you've always loved this show and you want to go see a live performance of it, get your tickets now and get yourself out to the Davis Musical Theater Company and see Cabaret. Another final weekend for a show. This one's put on by the Artist Collective and EMH Productions, and it's called Constellations. I have to give it a personal recommendation because I went last weekend to see this show. I didn't see any of you at the theater. You know, I always ask at the end for you to check in with me if they see me at the theater. But this was an amazing show. It took you so many places and through so many emotions. And it's just two people. It was outstanding. I can highly recommend it. If you have time this weekend, please go see Constellations. It was so very good. You still have time also to see Cinderella. It's going to close this weekend too. And this is the children's theater production at Chautauqua Playhouse for Cinderella. It's on Saturdays at 1 o'clock. So you have plenty of time to get in there and have a good afternoon's entertainment before you head home. Go see Cinderella. Just something fun to do with your kiddos, or maybe if you're just young at heart, you can enjoy this also. Well, that's what's playing right now, but wait until you see what's coming soon. And I've got a bunch more to add for next week because there were a whole slew of shows that dropped today and I didn't have a chance to get them in here. So we'll have them up for next week that are also coming soon that look like a great addition to our lineups. So let's see what we've got coming up like right away. The Chinese Lady is based on a true story and it's going to be coming to Capitol Stage. This opens on the 25th, which is tomorrow, and it will play through February 26th. And this is the story about the very first Chinese woman to ever visit the Americas. And she was sort of taken around the country and put on display pretty much as something unusual and exotic and an oddity. Maybe not the best scenario, but in the story told from her point of view and about all of the things that happened while she experienced life in the United States from her side of it. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. And this was a time, what part of what made her the oddity was this was a time in their culture where they were still doing foot binding. So she had bound feet and everybody thought that was just really, really unusual and everything like that. So the audiences are going to follow her travels through Americas as a living exhibit for the decades that she was here. So she's going to tell her story while looking at the lens of the long history of anti-Asian ugliness and exploitation and exotification in America. Sometimes we don't treat people from other places as nicely as we could, but I hope to think we're still learning. The Chinese Lady, playing at Capitol Stage. Get your tickets now. Coming to Sutter Street Theater, starting on the 28th, that means it's opening this weekend, will be Alice in Wonderland. I don't think I need to give you a synopsis of this show. Unless you have been living under that mushroom, you know this story, and it's a beloved story. It's going to be playing on Saturdays and Sundays at 1 o'clock at Sutter Street Theater. This is directed by Mike Jimena and by Catherine Schultz Miller. I really would say if you've got young people in your family and you want some quality children's theater, Sutter Street always puts on great productions. Go check it out. Coming soon to the Woodland Opera House will be An American in Paris. Here's another one where we've got some gracious patrons who are supporting the arts for us. Kevin and Lori Harburger and Roger and Judy Kohlmeyer present this production, which is great. Again, these are our wonderful, gracious patrons who are underwriting community theater here in Northern California. This is going to be, again, at the Woodland Opera House over on 2nd Street. It's going to open on February 10th, and it will play through March 5th. It's on Fridays and Saturdays at 7:30 and Sundays at 2 o'clock. An American in Paris, coming your way soon. Another one coming your way soon, a little more dramatic story, but one that's poignant and fitting for the times. They're opening in time for Black History Month and bringing to you a story which is a case that highlighted a lot of the elements of American culture and the exploitation of racism by two women who falsely accused these young Black men of attacking them. And then the Communist Party got in on this exploitive part of it, trying to use racism in its efforts to recruit African Americans. This is a part of our history, again, little parts of our history that we don't like to talk about, but they were there and we need to know what happened so we don't ever repeat these again. So this one is called Direct from Death Row, The Scottsboro Boys. It's directed by Sacramento's own Anthony Dewan, who's an amazing director, writer, has been a part of the Sacramento community for some time now. And it's going to be showing at the St. Hope Guild Theater, which is this lovely theater in Oak Park. Gorgeous big theater. There's lots of parking down there, so you should have a fine time with that. Direct from Death Row, the Scottsboro Boys. Let's take a look at their cast also, because they've got a wonderful cast that's with them. They're going to have Mark Stein, the playwright, actually come and do a talk back one of the evenings that they're in production, which is going to be wonderful and great too to be able to share with them. So you've got this amazing Sacramento cast of characters who are there to, play these really powerful roles as we're going through all of the things that are happening in Black History Month. So you have the Scottsboro Players, who are Brooklyn T. Solomon, Maurice Nakane, Serena Krastev, Taylor Vaughn, Tyree Allen, Howie Brandt, Conrad Crump, Naima Moon, Maurice Cephas III, and Joey Archie Jr., who plays the piano man. You don't want to miss this production. Make sure you get your tickets now while they last for Direct from Death Row, the Scottsboro Boys. Coming to Roseville Theater Arts Academy in February, this will be opening on February 16th, is a production called Dragon the Line. I bet there's dragons in it someplace. I think there just might be. Dragon the Line, coming to RTAA in February. I really want to impress upon you all that we would love to publicize what you and your theater are doing. Please let us do that. You can go to our website directly and put the information in for your show, for your auditions, for your special events, and we will put them in our community calendar. sarda.com, shows and auditions. Load up your information there and let us know what's going on. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here in a little bit, and we're going to move over to a community conversation. So I'm going to click us to be right back while I get that set up. So bear with me for 1 or 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Okay, we're back. And now we're going to have a community conversation that I recorded earlier. As I mentioned at the start of our broadcast, we got a chance to chat again with our friend Chris Smith. Chris has recently been a part of a one-act play festival down at Big Idea Theater. And so I asked him if he'd like to come on and share some of the things that are going on at the theater with us. So here we go with our next community conversation. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another community conversation with Sarda Theaters. Today, we're talking with another good friend of ours, Chris Smith. And Chris has some I love that. Chris has some exciting things to share with us about a show that just opened this weekend, right, Chris?
Yes, yeah. My first opportunity to work with Big Idea Theater. They're doing their yearly, or now seems like a yearly, one-act festival where they get original works from around the world and Six directors, six plays. The way it's sort of broken down, like this weekend, each night has two one acts. So Act One is director A, writer A, actors A, for that show, and then after intermission, B, and then C and D will be on Saturday, E and F on Sunday, and then it'll rotate. So, like Fridays now, E and F, A and B are on Saturday, C, D, Sunday. And it's been a really interesting process working with a new theater company, but mostly because as a director, I'm not in charge of lighting, props, set design, doing all of the things that I'm used to doing. Just really nice to walk in like, somebody's handling this, fantastic. But it's a really great opportunity. If you're an actor and you haven't done this, the Big Idea One Act Festival, you should absolutely come out and audition next year, as almost everybody who auditioned is in a show. There are people who have never worked with Big Idea who have fairly large parts, including in mine, and there are the people who have been Big Idea staples for a long time that, of course, if you're somebody who works at Big Idea or goes and sees shows there, you'll absolutely recognize some faces. And then if you're only a Big Idea, then you will definitely see some new ones. So it's been a really interesting process.
Now, were you engaged in the auditioning process also, since you're directing the show?
Yeah. And this was it was all cold reads. So,
okay.
And I guess I could talk about things that people were looking for within, the audition. When it comes to auditioning, like some of the things that we were really looking for were just adaptability, because it's a one act festival. You're dealing with 6 different styles of theater all in one. Like one night is magical realism with realism aspects. I'm doing a science fiction piece that we're taking as though it's all real, but clearly it's science fiction. If you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's Deborah Bromley, who's playing the science fiction-y character, has like a ton of work to do. It's an uphill battle. And then there's a dark comedy, there's satire, there's a little bit of almost goofy comedy. So no matter what sort of actor you are, you get to come see, there's a place for you. Like some actors are very much good realism, good dramatic actors, right?
Sure.
And some are comedians. So being able to come out to a one act festival is a really great way to see who can do what, and get to know some directors who will soon be doing larger pieces for sure, or longer pieces. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what nights give us the name of the piece you're working on, and then what nights can someone go and see that particular one? I mean, go see the whole series if you can, but
I'm directing A Safe Place. I'm in that little scenario that I just described, the A
in your alphabet soup. Yep.
Right. I'm the A of the alphabet soup.
Okay.
I don't know if that means anything good or they just wanted to get it over with. It's A Safe Place by Mike Byham, out of Texas, I believe. Two-hander. Rick Grants Coons and Deborah Bromley are my cast. Music not by Peter Gabriel. I didn't steal that song at all, or admit it online. We did the Friday, so now we're gonna be first up on Saturday, and then first up on the closing Sunday. So there are 2 more weekends: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And in order to see all pieces, you'd kind of have to do like one full weekend. Like you could do the full weekend, but they almost sold out, or did sell out on Sunday, which is one of the nice things also about a one act festival, because you've got, what do we have? We had I want to say, because I was there each show this weekend trying to make sure I supported everybody and saw everything. And my cast is in, Rick is in another night, and then Deborah is in the other night. So I saw all 3 nights so I could support my cast and the other people I know within the other shows. So it's really nice to see, like, you have a one-act festival with 2 casts back to back, up to 10ish people, I want to say, on the Sunday shows. There was 10 cast-ish, which means that each cast member brings a few people, the director brings a few people. So as a theater owner, it's a smart thing to do, is to make multiple casts.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Right. I mean, in a time when we've come forward, but we're still trying to get those butts in seats. And it can be tricky. It can be very tricky. I noticed I went to several different productions in, November, December, and the attendance varied really hard. Yeah. So anything we can do to, help let people know it's safe to come to the theater. You're going to have a good time, so
right.
Yeah.
And this is what I've been saying about this. Like, it's it really is a community support event, the One Act Festival, because it is original work. You're not seeing like some of the greatest writers of all time do things. It's really a trial ground for, this is my first time directing with Big Idea. Mm-hmm. So they're seeing, it's a smart thing for them to do, to like meet 30, 40, 50 actors and see how they actually perform. Have 6 directors that they can get to know and figure out if that's more directors than they will need for the rest of their season if right. They pulled only from that One Act Festival. So it's an opportunity to meet directors that they can want to work with and tolerate. Which is always, you can let an actor be weird, but your director you have to actually like in your theater company. But yeah, that's part of the really nice thing about doing a one-off, and you're helping a writer that hasn't had their work seen a heck of a whole lot. Give them a little bit of help.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. So we're looking at this now down here at Big Idea Theater. We have some history together. When we first connected, we were talking about events at the stage at Burke Junction. Then we transitioned down to the R Street complex. And right. For those of you who don't know about that, that's one of the staples in Sacramento theater, the California Stage, the Wilkerson Theater, and the Three Penny Theater, right. Where I got to see The Stupidest Angel, which was hysterical. And now you're Big Idea. So it seems like you're a little peripatetic. You don't really have a spot that you're in. You're just
you with the $5 words.
Well, I got to pay for this education some way.
No, it's the nice thing about. It's the thing that I realized happened at the end of last year. Like I think it's the best. The philosophy, the best way you can go about saying, like, occasionally you need to leave certain rooms. Or it's just not your room. Like,
sure.
I was in the wrong house. And I appreciate the time and opportunity to do stuff, and to meet all the people I've met. Like, the reason that Big Idea came my way is because Adam Adafia and Chloe Bronson had both worked with me at the stage and suggested me to be the one of the directors when they needed a replacement near the end. Unfortunately, I had time. So it really, I will say that it seems as though 90% of survival in theater in the community, even as you're on your way to professional theater, is to just know people.
True.
No.
True. Very true.
I think 2 years ago, after I'd only really done one show here, maybe 2, after coming back from Los Angeles, I knew like a handful of people. But after producing 5 shows, directing 1 last season, acting in 2, sound designing it, I got to meet every single person who acted. did any technical work directed at the stage last year or so, and a lot of the people that came in and auditioned. I got to meet a whole bunch of people.
Sure.
So now it's like, hey, you're that guy. Yes, I'm that guy. So people that we had audition and we're at the Big Idea audition, and it's always nice. So my only advice to people is get out there, meet people, start auditioning.
Yeah, while we think this is a vast community, we cover a lot of, geographic area. It really is a small community.
Yeah.
And getting your name out there, getting to know who's who, where in the
Right.
community, who the major players are. We need to be there for each other so we can do that kind of support, especially right now. As people are trying to come back and unfold again. We lost several theater companies during this whole, 2.5 years of crazy that we've been through, and, are still getting back on track from all of that. I am so happy to see people branching out into other theater spaces and, using that as an opportunity. And I appreciate Big Idea, especially for being able to do that. They did it last year with another theater group. Now they're doing this again, with their one-act plays. And it's very nice to be able to see this go on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that our street's going through some changes as well. And that's sort of the nature of the beast, is that places evolve and change, and hopefully it's for the better on both ends, both for the audience and for the people at that space. Like, some people are, I've said it numerous times, like, I have no desire to do children's theater at the moment. Some people love it and that's their thing. So I hope that, the thing that would be wrong is for me to be doing children's theater when I don't want to be, and I'd prefer to be doing, like, whatever it is. These are big drama hands. What I just did. If I want to do big drama hands, but I have to wear Mickey Mouse gloves and sing that, and I don't want to, that's the problem. So it's always nice to see that people are growing, maturing, and saying, I want to do this. I was talking to Rick Eldridge, the tall man.
Rick's amazing. He's been a stalwart in our theater community for some time now. Yeah.
He and I are slowly becoming, because he was in Chloe Bronson's piece at the stage, and he and I got to talk a bit and have mutual friends, mutual parties, and whatnot. But he's, I guess he's doing, he's performing in a musical coming up soon. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say it. I'm not sure it's been posted. I don't know, so I'm not going to.
Got it.
But
it's okay.
I know he's gone from, like, he wants to do. He and I were talking about a very dramatic realism, angry white man piece that has been like one of those old classics that he and our generation are like, yep, those guys are going to do that show. Obviously, that's what they're going to do.
They're going to do 12 Angry Men again, and
no, we're this 90s.
Okay.
But the people we grew up with, like the Sam Shepherds and the Mammoths.
Right.
Those Angry Man shows that, like, we have to do it. We have to do that one because we can.
But he should.
But he's one of those people who wants, occasionally he's like, I just want to do something where the audience goes, yay! It's like, you feel free. I'm gonna go try and do something that makes people cry. That's my job.
No, that's stretching yourself into roles like that is really important for, I think, for you as an actor. See, just deciding, can I do this? Let me see if I can do this.
Right.
Let me see how this feels, especially if you've never done it before. And sometimes stepping into those places, you go, that was amazing. I loved it and I really enjoyed it, or that was an experience.
Right.
And we're not doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that, I think that's a very mature way of looking at it. It's the mindful way of looking at it. That portion of there's the, I'm going to do this thing and I hate it. I'm going to do this thing and I love it. It's the, I'm going to do this thing, take a couple of, I get this out of it, I get this out of it. This is the way I would like to be perceived while I'm doing it, moving through it, blah, 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 blah. So there are some people who like reluctantly doing this thing, or I don't like this cast, or I don't like, the director or whatever. Like, no, just get what you can out of it and move forward. And, if you need to express yourselves to hopefully get what you're really after within that experience to whomever you might need to. Great.
Right.
But like I've done children's theater, I enjoyed it and realized it's not what I want to do.
Sure.
I would also say there is the flip side to doing whatever is offered. Eventually, what you want to do gets lost in whatever comes your way. So there has to be that dance of what can I do, and what am I actually going to try to do, and what am I willing to give up on. It's the relationship tango, right? What
Sure.
am I willing to give up, um, for the thing I love?
Right. Right.
You know,
Yeah,
uh,
it's that I can have a job acting, or I can really do this part that I've wanted for so long, and it's gonna be amazing, and I'm going to be just so engaged in it. Or I can be part of the ensemble in this one because I just feel like I need to be on stage now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the conversation that I was having with Atom this morning. Was there is that feeling like I get to take a break now because I haven't had one in like a year and a half, and there's some writing projects I want to get moving on, and applications for various things to try. But there will be that thing where I want to perform again. It's not right now.
Mhm.
It's not, it is not happening right now.
Yeah.
But you take what's offered sometimes, and sometimes you just have to say, it's not. It has nothing to do with anything other than me wanting to focus on something else other than that right now.
Right.
I have to do that with a couple of shows that are coming up that want me to audition. I can't right now.
Right. Right.
I shouldn't. I'm not going to be. I'd be doing it for somebody else, not myself.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And if you're not going to pay me a ridiculous amount of money, which is not going to happen,
Wait, you do remember this is community theater.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can turn it into a job, I will approach it as though it's a job.
Right. Right.
I don't. If it's supposed to be community theater, then you're supposed to enjoy it while on the way to something else.
Sure.
Hopefully we all get to do this professionally, but the odds of that happening, uh, you know,
Yeah.
low.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. So you've got this. It's closing in a couple of weekends. Remember, if you want to get to see this, get your tickets at Big Idea Theater.
Yeah, I think it's a big idea. I'll double check my phone here.
Right. We want to give them the correct sources so they can go
Uh,
sell out a couple more weekends here.
yeah, bigideatheater.org. Theater with an R-E.
With an R-E. Yes.
Not an array.
Okay.
Theatre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll get you into that one. And so you'll get a chance to see this. After this, you sort of teased a little bit that you've got some writing projects in the works and things like that. What's next, after this?
Well, I've always fancied myself more a writer than anything, which is strange because people only know me as he was an actor in that thing or a director in that thing, or he's just there running around seeming very busy at that other theater. But I've always dreamt as a writer, so and spending a bunch of my life doing other things, I've decided that I want to focus on writing and actually attempting to do it correctly.
Got it.
So I have a play that I wrote a little bit ago and I'm starting to send to various submission-y, fellowship-y things, like whomever will take me and give me some experience, some things on the resume. If we're going to perform it, great. If we're going to do a workshop, we're offering you a fellowship, whatever it is.
Right.
To start that process, finishing writing a horror theater piece, which I find really interesting because that's what I wanted. One of the codes I wanted to crack, see if we could really terrify people on stage.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like one of those things. And I've just got notes on a film that I wrote a little bit ago that I need to update. And applying for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with a piece I wrote ages ago. Just trying, of the resources we have, and of course they're all important, but the number one thing that you can never lose is time.
True.
The second is peace of mind, happiness, contentedness, your emotional state, your psychological. Third is resources for trading, be
Right.
it money, wealth, whatever. Like, to me, so I'm trying not to waste my two most precious resources, which are time and peace of mind.
Right, right, absolutely. And it's a joy that you get from doing something else that stretches your own, when people think
Yeah.
community theater, they only think of what's happening on stage.
Mhm.
They don't understand. Somebody had to put pen to paper
Mhm.
to make this a thing that actors wanted to get up and do. So
Right.
it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Thank you for sharing about that. Well,
Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us today. Oh my gosh, I'm happy to get a chance to talk with you again. For those of you who aren't aware, like I said, it's a small community theater group of people that we know, and we get together from time to time in other places and laugh and talk and laugh and talk. So it's great to be able to have these kinds of chats with folks in the community who are out there doing amazing things. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's always fun to uh, remember that because I will say for those people who are starting out in Sacramento, like I knew nobody really a few years ago, and within I think Saturday night was the interesting one at Big Idea. I wasn't directing that night, but I got to sit with a couple of people I had recently met and worked with, who across from somebody who needed to run up and give me a hug, and another person that I had just worked with sat next to me, and behind me were a few people that all of a sudden you do have this community if you just start getting involved.
Right.
And that's been that's the other part of this. It's community theater, so half of that is community.
Right. Absolutely.
And so you can't divorce the two. If you want to do just theater, well, you're not taking advantage of all of it.
Of all of it, yeah. And for people who don't regard community theater as highly as I've always regarded it, because, well, it's just community theater. It's like, oh, but wait, you don't know the work that goes into and the passion that goes into what happens on these stages. So we appreciate it. That's one of the reasons SARTA exists, is to support and encourage and promote all of this amazing community theater that's out there. So again, we thank you for sharing that with us, and we thank all of you for being here to share another community conversation. And we look forward to the next time we'll get a chance to come back and tell us when you get those plays ready to be on stage, so we can talk about that next time.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That's an affirmative. We're putting it into the ether right now. It's going to happen. All right, Chris, thank you so much. And we'll talk with you again. We'll see you guys again. I'll see you at the theater. Bye now.
I love being able to get together with our community theater partners and have chats like that. If your theater would like to be involved in one of these community conversations, we would really love it if you would like to come sit with us, record a chat. We'll play it so that everybody can hear what's going on at your theater company, because I know you're all out there doing amazing things. So thanks again to Chris Smith for coming and sharing about that. And get your tickets for this weekend, Big Idea Theater, their one-act play festival. It's always good. It's something they've done before, and it always gets wide acclaim. So get over there and get your tickets. Go see some theater this weekend. I always challenge you with that. And sometimes people take me up on it, and sometimes I know you don't. But I will ask you again, if you're here with us on Twitch, please click the follow button. We would love to have you as part of our audience on a regular basis, and you'll get the notifications when we come back ready to do our Twitch streams. If you are out there on social media, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, at SARTA Theaters. You can find us, and there's always some updates and new information that we're putting out there. So you want to follow us so that you get the latest and greatest news that's coming through from our community theater partners. Well, guys, we have burned quite the candle today. And as I tell you every week, I really want you to get out there and see some theater. We've got a lot of things going on in our community, and I hope to see you at the theater. So until next week, take care. Bye-bye, guys.